Well, my hot take isn't really a hot take. It's more a conversation starter. It's more of a question.
Okay.
Why has Park Chan-wook never been nominated for an Oscar in his 34 years of filmmaking?
Let's talk about that.
He must have peed in somebody's cornflakes.
So...
No, but like, that's the logical reason. No, but go.
So I was doing some research because obviously, and we'll get onto this when we talk about international, like I feel like one of the biggest snubs this year was the No Other Choice snub.
100%.
Not only for me in international, but in Best Picture.
100%.
Like this goes out saying, take out F1, put in No Other Choice there. We'll get onto this at a later date.
Next week, I will have things to say. But yes, go on.
A lot of people have been theorizing that it is to do with his beef with the WGA, with the Writers Guild. During his work on his miniseries The Sympathizer with HBO,
Yes.
they alleged that he violated strike rules and they kicked him out of the Writers Guild of America. He said that the scripts that he wrote were finished before the strike began and that he was like all within guidelines, but they kicked him out. That was in 2023. So obviously there is a big crossover between Writers Guild members and Academy voters. And that is kind of one of the theories circulating this year about why he's not been nominated. But that was in 2023.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
what about the rest of his
when
career?
was Decision to Leave? When did that come out?
Decision to Leave was maybe 2023, 2022.
Yeah. Where's The Handmaiden then?
But, yeah.
Do you know
Decision
what
to
it
Leave was on
is?
the cusp. Where was The Handmaiden?
Okay, so I guess there's a few things at play. Parasite did turn the needle on a lot of international films, but also a lot of Southeast Asian films.
Yeah.
So then I think that everything that came out post Parasite, we should really look into like why did you not make the cut? But before then, we just know that unfortunately, it is actually just racism at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And a lot of the international films that made it through are either ones that are close to the Americas, because at the end of the day, people do like to forget that the Oscars is an American award show. So sometimes they throw the rest of us a bone, but it is like fully American.
Yes.
And we're somehow disillusioned that it's for the whole world. They've actually, sometimes I do think that the Academy has tricked us to think that this is a world award. It's an American award. It's like the AMAs. It's like, why are you looking for, I don't know, Little Mix to be at the AMAs? They won't be there. They'll be at the Brits. But then I think looking afterwards, then yes, maybe that has now completely hindered him afterwards.
Yeah. And The Handmaiden was 2018?
Yeah.
Maybe earlier?
So then they weren't really, but I guess we'd have to go, it would be interesting to go through the history of the international nominees to see the mix of countries. Because also, sorry, what I was trying to say is they look at the international awards were going to Western European.
Yeah.
So you're looking at French, German, Italian, and then maybe the Nordics. But then they weren't really checking for anything else because I really, like, I'm sorry, India makes films out the wazoo.
Yeah.
And Bollywood is a massive, massive industry. We don't see Indian films getting nominated at all. You don't really see a lot of Southeast Asian films getting nominated. You might see Japanese films.
Yeah.
And Japanese films have always, and then sometimes maybe some Chinese films, but it's like for some reason an international country will be popular and then you'll be popular for a moment and like, okay, we've moved on. Bang. And then so instead of, but it's also, that's why it's hard to be like, international is supposed to be the whole world and it's five. It's like five films.
Normally European.
Yeah,
countries.
exactly. And then it's all European, which is like interesting for this year. You know, this year is interesting because they are technically European, but the subject isn't European.
Yeah.
And I think that's how people kind of like skirt round, because you can make a film that is Iranian, but then if you put it through France, they'll look at it. But if they submitted it through Iran, I don't think they would have had a look at.
Yeah.
These are the politics within the Academy.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Park, I don't know when your day's coming, but I hope it's coming soon.
No Other Choice is the second highest grossing film, like Korean film, like in America after Parasite.
Yeah.
So like people are seeing it and it was shortlisted. I'm so interested, why it wasn't nominated. That is like, when we go into international, like the biggest snub for me. And it's a snub in Best Picture, like I was saying before. I think
Neon have been, they put out, did you all see that poster?
Oh yeah.
Like they knew it was like, hello. And it's also
What's going on?
it's also the subject of the film.
Yeah. I loved the bill. I thought the bill was so clever. Neon Smiles is always so clever.
Yeah.
It is interesting when you're talking about Neon though, like the fact that they are the distributors of 4 out of 5 of the nominees, I think is also interesting.
I think they found their bracket.
Like No Other Choice, I think was their only one that they distributed this year for international that didn't get nominated. Like, do you think that there is something in whether or not the Academy and the Academy voters like a distributor dominating like category?
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But I do also think that in what we were talking about in episode 1, for international films, unconscious bias also plays a really big factor in how you see that country.
Yeah.
So then I think that is also like a big swing. Like, for example, that person that made that weird comment about the secret agent and saying, oh, they'll probably win because there's loads of Brazilians and they'll just vote for it. It's stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think like you have to like factor those things in. But anyway.
Yeah, I just thought this year, like with, you know, the like Parasite winning, I know we talk about it a lot, but Parasite winning Best Picture was like,
what a moment.
It was historic.
It was
we
historic.
all remember where we were.
Yeah, exactly. It was so great. And, you know, made that speech, I'm going to paraphrase it, but like think about how much more you can learn. Like on the other side.
Yeah.
But I think it's not that like he should have to speak for like all of Korean filmmaking, but I think it's a shame that felt like such a historic moment. But since then, have we seen any other Korean films nominated since, really?
No, Drive My Car.
Drive My Car. Yeah.
Drive My Car win? I think yes, to my dismay. I that really upset me. But like I think in that I do feel like people see like, oh, this country's taken 2 this year. We won't.
This is also what's
and
so
this
tricky.
is why international is off. It's like So even with the international win of last year,
I'm still here.
I feel like potentially because a Brazilian film won last year, they'll be like, Brazil already won last year. We'll give it to another country, and it shouldn't run like that.
Yeah,
like, if a Korean film bosses it every year, then give it this every year. Like it is what it is. But like,
I think this category is a bit like like as a category itself, I think it needs to be changed.
Yeah.
I think this whole thing of countries having to choose one film to submit, and then it kind of being based on like, this is Brazil's entry, this is like South Korea's entry, like then completely limits it, because you don't want to keep awarding the same people. It's the same, you don't want to keep awarding the same countries, but these are completely different films, completely different filmmakers and teams of filmmakers and actors and everything. I just think the category needs, maybe that's my hot take. Yeah. I think the category
I
needs
completely agree with you, because when you're looking at comparing them, I was going to say measuring them, but comparing them, they're all so different.
Yeah.
And it just feels like I really shouldn't be comparing these 2 different contrasting
Park
films
Chan-wook and Bong Joon-ho have completely different directorial styles and have been complete, and like I don't know, there's just I completely agree with you.
Yeah, but I think that's also like, again, I think we forget the Oscars have really done well to make us forget that this is an American award.
Yeah.
And then
are we being naive, being like
but I think they've just packaged themselves quite well. So you see this and we're like, oh, everybody should be getting a look in. But really they're like, no, this is for our industry and it's for Hollywood. And so we've given you a bracket where you can come in, and sometimes your film's good enough to even make Best Picture if you're lucky. But like really, we all by our own countries have our own award shows, but for some reason the BAFTAs is obviously big, but we're still treating the Oscars as bigger than the BAFTAs. I guess like films like Sentimental Value, for example, I think they cleared up in the European awards, but like we don't even in the UK make a bigger stink about the European awards, when really we should be closer to the European awards than we are to the US ones.
Interesting.
But again, it's the laziness of subtitles. And if we were looking at the European awards, we'd be like celebrating that a little bit more, because every single one that we're talking about today, bar The Secret Agent, would have cleared up in the European awards.
That's true.
And so they've got their things there in their own circle, but then we're looking at the Oscars.
We have a whole podcast dedicated
to
the Oscars.
Exactly. So maybe we're part of the problem.
Maybe we're causing the problem.
I do want to say, just before we talk about the international nominations, I am really upset that My Father's Shadow wasn't there. My Father's Shadow means a lot to me. Akinlola Davis and Shoppe mean a lot to me personally. And it was just so beautiful, and the boys had been their first roles and how they cast it, all that good stuff. Like, it was just such a beautiful role. I did cry a lot, but I think it was just a bit more personal because Nigeria loves to piss me off, and watching the film, I was like, you've been annoying people since Timbuktu. But I'm upset that it just didn't get the shine that it deserved. But I think that just plays into what we've been saying, that you can't fit the whole world into 5 noms.
Yeah, I completely agree. I felt like My Father's Shadow was very snubbed. And actually, I was going to bring up Chopin on our Best Actor category, because I think that's a snub. Like, I know obviously it's like a much smaller film, but it shouldn't have to be a smaller, like,
no.
You know what I mean? He's just so captivating in that role. Like, I remember watching it at London Film Festival, and I remember loving it at London Film Festival, but I watched it again, I was like, no, this is incredible. Like, and his performance in it is just the way that he's able to he's trying to keep it together for his boys, but he's also the vulnerability that he's able to show on screen, I think is so beautiful. And I just, and the fact that, like, I know Acton has been working for a while, but the fact that it's basically a first time film for everybody involved, but like, it is crazy to me. It just feels like an auteur film. Like, it feels like someone with, like, I mean, he does, but like a very, very strong directorial vision, and it's just heartbreaking. Like, everything in it, like the score, the cinematography, the direction, the acting, like there's nothing I can fault about it when I watch it. Like, there's nothing I can pick apart in it.
Exactly.
Like, it's just it's just incredible. And
I think isn't what you say, that Chopin's performance, but obviously how it's written, it's like the balance between the hypermasculinity of that environment and the culture, but also to show that to also put a shine on, like, every man that's going through that time at that time, is like, you have to be the man of the household. You, God forbid, you show a drop of sensitivity, but you have these kids that are supposed to be looking to you, and it's like, how do you show them that you can be human but also be a man in an environment that if you show weakness, it's life or death. And I think that was done really well without it being traumatic, because I think in a lot of those instances, I think we would have seen something quite harsh, especially in the Nigerian landscape, but they did well to be like, it's more of an everyday. This is more of like this, we're going through the motions of an everyday, and like something obviously has happened, but we're not going to focus on it too directly, but you can feel you could almost feel the thickness of the air. I think there is that scene when they're in the bar and they're watching the results and the kind of corruption that's involved in that, and like there was a point where I was thinking, is it gonna turn and it doesn't. The emotional impact is still there, but I think it's actually even more so because of the way that it's handled and stuff. And I don't want to spoil the ending of the film, but like, just the subtlety with which every part of the film is handled with care, and you can tell. I think that's really beautiful. So the international films that are nominated are The Secret Agent, that is Brazil's nomination. We have Sirāt, which is Spain's nomination. We have Sentimental Value, which is Norway's nomination. We have The Voice of Him Rajab, which is Tunisia's nomination. And It Was Just an Accident, which is France's... I was going to say Frenchie's. The Frenchie's nomination. All very different films. All heavy in very different ways. Emotions are felt. There's one film here.
Oh, here we go.
That I do not like. But you know what? I appreciate it for what it is. Everybody should try new things. And isn't that what the creative arts is about?
So true.
Try new things. Done for trying something new. It didn't take for me, Sirāt, but I love you for doing you. I found Sirāt, I thought it was boring.
This is so interesting to me,
because I was on the edge of my seat.
I was head in my hands in the cinema.
I was like, who's going next?
I just don't even my thing is like, you can't do essentially nothing for 20 minutes, do something crazy and then grab my attention. I think that's actually, to me, that's like almost lazy filmmaking. It's more like, the things that happen were like shocking. But that doesn't carry through most of your film. So you can't just like have a really dramatic, and sorry, like maybe if you've not seen it, I'm going to have to spoil it. You can't have a dramatic death and then like do nothing for half an hour. And I'm like, cool. It's like we're on the journey, and then at the end we're like bang 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 bang, and I'm like, cool. Like it didn't move me. I didn't care any of those people died.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god. The kid. I was on the edge of my seat. I think I agree with you though. Tonally, it's kind of everywhere, and I think I would say the sound design, the soundtrack really obviously mirrors that so
sound
well.
is great.
And I want to shout out Kanding Ray, and he deserved that nom because I thought that it complemented it perfectly. Obviously, I mean, we're immersed in the rave, but I don't know. I was like kind of like heart thumping, like what's gonna happen next? And I agree. It took me a while to get into it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, where is this gonna go? But then as soon as there was, I mean, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this, maybe skip 5 minutes. But as soon as the truck rolled off the cliff, I was like, what? We're doing this? I was in. I was like, really, yeah. I was enjoying it.
The truck rolled off the cliff, and it's like, okay.
But
maybe I just really didn't care about that kid.
Yeah. You said, fuck them kids.
No, really, because I was like, right. I was like, cool. That was it's like, but okay, now that's happened. Now what?
I don't know. I was just very taken by it as a road movie because I think that, like, I know you're saying it does take a long time for it to get to like a climax, and then nothing really happens, and then there's like 3 more climaxes, and you're like, fucking hell. But I just think that, like, and I know to talk about the sound design, but like it is very integral to the movie, and that kind of, I felt very immersed in it from the start. Like I was ready to go on that journey, I guess. Like, I think it does take a while to get where it needs to go, but I don't know, I was just very taken by it. I don't think it's the best film on this list, and I think there are things that I would have put in, like My Father's Shadow, over it for sure. But as a film, I'd never seen anything like it, and I have to credit that.
I like to see original movies, and I think that was something that was completely original, and I didn't know where it was going to go. Movies. Maybe you don't like road movies.
That's okay.
I think like I like a road movie if like there's a lot of stops, maybe. But like
the way that it throws you into it, because it's kind of in a world that's like you don't know. I think that's what kept me entertained. I was like, why are they here? Why are they being told to evacuate? Like all of this kind of stuff. Like that's what then piqued my interest. Like if it had just been set like on the freeway, like I really would have been bored. But like I think because it was just like completely immersing me, like visually, like sonically into this new world, that's why I could, like, I even when it was not this crazy moment of action, I was like very immersed in it. I think.
Do you know what? Okay. Because and this is the
beauty of the podcast.
The beauty of
filmmaking, the beauty of the creativity. Not everything is for everybody.
Yeah, I love that.
And if you like it, you like it. You don't like it, you don't like it.
And I also thought the cinematography was great.
Yeah, I
agree. A lot
agree.
of beautiful shots there.
Do you think Sentimental Value is a shoe-in for this? Do you know when a film has a lot of nominations across the board, but then has the international? If you're looking at the two, then that's The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value. But Sentimental Value has more nominations. So then also they got 8 BAFTA noms, and also they did the Cannes Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I've literally only just had this thought. I thought The Secret Agent is going to clear it, but now I think actually it might go to Sentimental Value.
I don't think either will win.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I don't think either will win. I think Sentimental Value, it's like not like, I don't think gone too mainstream, because it's still, I think it's probably still very underseen. But I think it is to do with that. I think it is to do with nominations, and the fact that we're talking about, the fact that the Academy is actually at its core an American show and not an international show, but like the fact that he's not been nominated for Best Picture before, that's interesting that his first Best Picture nom and first film to get all of this acclaim in this way was one that is focused on Hollywood in some way. Like, and you've got Elle Fanning and Stellan Skarsgård, two like people who have been working in Hollywood for a really long time, and so it almost like it is an international film, but it almost doesn't feel like an international film.
So you think that will hurt it?
Yeah, and I just think that I could see, like we were talking about last episode, I could see Inga taking Best Supporting, and I can see Stellan taking Best Supporting, and I think that because then it will get its due, people will be like, okay, we're not going to vote for international, and we're going to give a spotlight to something else. In that vein, I think that The Voice of Him Rajab or It Was Just an Accident could take it.
We'll take it.
It was just sorry, do you want to?
No, I was just going to agree with you.
No, to be honest, I can see that as well, to be honest. The Voice of Him Rajab got like 8 or 9 awards at Venice. And also they had like that huge,
it was the longest standing ovation
ovation.
in history, near 22 minutes.
so that has to be honest, and I think it's one of those things, like these standing ovations need to start meaning something.
It's
like
true.
it doesn't make sense like people just be standing up there for no and then when it comes to the actual awards, it's like, oh, crickets. What were you standing up for if you're not then going to vote? Because all the people standing up are also on the boards voting.
It also kind of like really then sways what people are like excited for, I think, as well. Like, do you remember when like Joker 2 got like an insane, like quite a long standing ovation, and then like, do you know what I mean? Like I completely agree with you. Like it just then all these films come out of Venice and you don't even really see immediate reviews out of Venice. You see what you see first is what got the longest standing ovation. And then it's very interesting, like, does that actually translate to the film?
Well, there's also like, so the long standing ovations, my maths that I've recently been doing is that 7 minutes standing ovation at these award shows mean nothing. It means that you've got a 2 to 3 star film. Wolves with George Clooney and Brad Pitt, I remember that got like something like a 6.5 and people were like, oh my god, that was really long. I was like, oh no,
that's a 1 star,
baby.
You ain't getting anything, babes. That's not good, is it? 10 minutes you're looking at good. Anything above 10 minutes then you're like, okay, this film is excellent. But also after going to Cannes, people are really clap happy.
Okay.
Because I've
people
been
do clap after all films and film
I've
festivals.
been involved in those claps. And I'm like, hey,
let's keep these good vibes going.
And I'm like, let's rev it up. Because it's like I just can't. I couldn't even understand clapping for that long. I was just like, wow, this is like.
God, I've never experienced that.
No, until you experience it for the first time, you're really like, and I think it gets to one of those points. You know, you don't want to be the first person to
stop.
So everyone is like, let's keep it going.
Yeah. You stop. No, you're still going.
And you don't realize that before the film, people clap as well. Because it's like full of so many people that have like, obviously, with the films that go into film festivals aren't the big blockbusters. It's the ones where I'm looking at 20 different production companies before the film starts. So every person from those bits are in the room. So then you're like cheering for your mates or you're cheering for your own production. So even before the film starts, with each production company shown, it's like a I'm like, wow. So how my hands are tired. So like it's constant. So with that, but however, with the Voice of Him Rajab, the 17 minute, I think it was. Obviously it was deserved. But we've seen it many times before that long claps don't go into awards, and I'm gonna see if, I don't know, put your claps where your money is. And
it's
have
true.
you actually voted?
It's true.
I was so moved. I mean, you said that you got out and you were crying and hugging a stranger, and I
miss him.
But it was so moving. It's a docudrama, not really something that I could sit here and review in the usual sense, because it's just, this is a piece of history, and this is proof that filmmaking is documenting history. It's activism in itself, and I think that it is such an important film. It is not an easy watch, but I was so moved by it, and the performances are insane. Like the actor who plays Omar, I can see, like, he did so much with his eyes that was just so heavy and so moving. And the casting in that was incredible.
The casting is incredible. I was saying, I think my first note, because it's sometimes you're swept in so much of the emotion that you sometimes miss everything else that's happening, whether it's to do with the actual camera work or the way it's written and things like that. My note that I wrote was, it's a really great reminder of how important sound is and how sound is used throughout, because I don't think, or more like how important silence is. Silence is like probably one of the most important players when you're trying to bring in emotion. And the silent points, the truly deafening silent points, whereas a lot of films there would be a tiny bit of score to like travel you through, or to also dictate how your emotion should run. Theirs was just like nothing. And in those minutes or seconds of silence, the emotion build was really intense. The emotions that we also see on screen with the actors, I did see the Q&A with the lead actor, and he said that the director didn't allow them to listen to the voice notes before hitting record.
Wow.
So they read them and they'd done the script read, but she knew that it would be too much for them. So a lot of the emotions that you're seeing on screen are the emotions that were felt.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then it was more like, we're not going to be able to do multiple takes of this. So we're going to hit record, we're going to play it, and you're reacting straight from it. Obviously, they read it and they know what's going to be said.
Yeah.
But I think that, so obviously within that, it's an important film, but you are really seeing like true raw emotions in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a heavy and difficult thing for an actor to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To sign on and commit to.
To sign on, yeah.
Because also like, obviously I have no idea how their days were going, but if you're watching somebody go through that emotion in real time and then you're just supposed to like continue to the next scene, like how much time are you having to remove yourself and then step back in?
Yeah.
And then like your head is like just so scrambled.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a really important film, but I'm apprehensive as to whether people will vote for it. Because the Academy is also shy on politics.
Yeah, it's true. I hope that the recognition of like the Northern documentary last year, you know, all art is political, so you should be political with your votes. And I also think, and I think the film speaks for itself. I don't think it should have to have this to like get a vote, but the fact that there are a lot of Hollywood producers on the film, like executive producers, like Brad Pitt
in it,
and like Rooney
Joaquin.
Mara and Joaquin, like just not that it should have to have that to like be taken seriously because it speaks for itself, but I think just that might sway it in terms of.
But also, onto your point with sentimental value, people could use that as an excuse.
What to not
vote for it.
Okay.
It's like people will find the excuse if they want to find it.
Yeah, it's true.
And so they could be like, well, and then they won't go for it. Is it truly international if it has all these Hollywood names attached?
Yeah, okay.
They could do that, but who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? But fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope that it doesn't, because I think everybody should see it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping if it will get like acclaim like that, it will just put it on more of a global stage. I think it's very important.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly shout out Mataz Malhis and Saya Kalani, who play the two main people on the phone, because like talk about performances that stayed with me this year.
Yeah.
Those two, by a mile.
Okay, lastly, before we have to run out of time, it was just an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
That scene at the end where you hear the squeaking of the leg.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my heart sank into my stomach.
A leg squeak has never been so important.
Yeah. No, genuinely.
From the beginning of the film. Because you were really like, where is this? You've mentioned, you know, when you hear something being mentioned so much, it's like, and how is this leg squeak going to traumatize me? And
and it does.
And
it
hear
does.
it again.
I think when it was just an accident came out initially around early in the year, last year, a lot of people loved it immediately.
Yeah.
But now I feel like it's had a bit of a dip.
I agree.
I do wonder how it's going to fare in this awards, because everybody was talking about it at one point. And it was like the film that
it won the Palme d'Or.
It won the Palme d'Or. Yeah.
But now it's like I'm not really seeing it in the same way that Sentimental Values had its resurgence and people are talking about it again. And obviously the Voice of Him Rajab has just come out in the UK, so people are talking about it now. The Secret Agent, people have been talking about all the way through. Sirāt, it's not having the same resurgence. So I wonder if that means it's going to get a look in, but I think it might just get missed, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I also think with Jafar Panahi, and like he's already been in prison for his filmmaking, and I think the fact that he's also going to be imprisoned again, I'm not sure if he's gone back to Iran, but like he can't talk about his film, you know, like because of censorship, like he can't talk about it. So I also think it's like it's awful, because
but
it's
you
like,
would think then it's a Neon film.
Yeah, it's a Neon
film. You
film.
would think then, if with Neon knowing that, would they not put more of an effort into to make sure that others can speak about the film? Like
that's true.
You know that's like, unfortunately, the political climate of that, like somebody's life could be on the line.
Yes.
So what are you doing to help like if you've already put it in to be nominated, you want people to talk about it, so why aren't you maybe doing a bigger effort to get people chatting about it? Or it's just not reaching my timeline. Sometimes these things are completely missing my space.
But I completely know what you mean though. I think it came out at Cannes, it won the Palme d'Or, and you know, Jafar Panahi is very well known, and you know, he's been like a very like trailblazing filmmaker and a very brave filmmaker for and has been putting out consistently good films as well. But I just think since then it's just I agree. I've not heard.
Yeah.
And I think it is also to do with the fact that, you know, like with Sentimental Valiant, Secret Agent, you know, you've got recognizable stars, whereas you haven't to, you know, to like a UK and US audience, you don't have recognizable stars. Although when we're talking about best casting too, that ensemble is perfect.
They
like
work so
it's such
well
a
together.
and it's such like a simple film in the way that it's set up and the way that so much of it takes place in like the van and things like that. Like
no.
I
always do this.
No.
And also the way that it balances, obviously it's such a dark, sensitive topic, but then it's funny. Then there's moments of dark comedy.
His films are like, that's why I love him as a director. Like he's just able to balance that tonality so well.
So well. Not enough that it takes you out of it.
Yeah.
But that you're just like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. I just think that like his films feel very real because they are like because they're about like real things that are happening and have happened to him and like I remember I listened to an interview with him and you know he's talking about how lots of characters are based on like his friends and like journalists that he knows that have been imprisoned or censored. Like I think it's obviously very personal to him but also personal to the political climate of Iran and like I also hope that this nomination will help it be more seen because I do agree with you. I felt there's just been a bit of a dip.
I would say that for the category as a whole, since the rule of that you must watch every single film, I think that is why we do have a bigger diversity in the international category. Because beyond like I think so many people we're very used to hearing French and Spanish, so much so that we've tricked ourselves into not needing to read the subtitles. I do that all the time. I feel like I get up in a French film and I do something at home and I'm like, wait, actually, I don't know what was actually said just now. I have to rewrite. There are some languages where I'm like, I've tricked myself into thinking I know what's going on or you're more familiar with it. But now that we're being introduced to like, again, this is, even though it looks like a pretty European Western slate, pull the entries, the actual content of them on. So I think it's with that introduction, it has forced them to watch a lot more things and basically diversify that palette. And I think that's why we've got a really, really strong selection this year. And long may it to continue. But also, I think that maybe this would be my final hot take.
Okay.
If you can do 10 films for best film, you should be doing 10 films for international.
If you can have 10 films represent, I mean, I know The Secret Agent and Sentimental Valley aren't American, but if you can have basically 10 films represent the whole of America, you could have 10
films for the
world.
world.
The globe. That's a very good hot take.
And if we had that long list, wow, we'd be laughing, but this episode would be 2 hours long.
This episode would be the long list.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Massive Cinema podcast. We will be back next week with more awards season hot takes. In the meantime, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow this podcast, comment, tell us what you think, tell us if you agree, tell us who you think has been snubbed. And in the meantime, you can follow @Massive Cinema on Instagram for more film related content.